Here's our last example using the quadratic formula. We're going to solve y is equal to 0.5 times x squared minus x plus 6. So we'll start out by identifying a, b, and c. So a is equal to 0.5, b is equal to -1, and c is equal to +6. Next, we'll write out our formula. X is equal to -b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4 times a times c all over 2 times a. And now we're just going to plug in our numbers. We have -1 plus or minus the square root of -1 squared minus 4 times 0.5 times +6. And all of that is divided by 2 times 0.5. Okay, so let's start simplifying. So -1 gives us +1 plus or minus the square root of +1, because -1 squared is +1. Remember to put the brackets there. And then we have -4 times 0.5 times 6. So that's going to give us -12. And all of that is going to be over 1, right? 2 times 0.5 gives us 1. So let's simplify one step further. We have 1 plus or minus square root of -11. And it's all over 1, so we don't need to write that again. Now, here we have a negative number. We can't take the square root of a negative number and get an answer that is a real number. This goes into the world of imaginary numbers, which we don't deal with in grade 10. So at this point, you're going to notice that this is not a real number. Okay, and we have discussed this in previous lessons. Okay, can't have a negative under a square root. Right, because then that gives us imaginary numbers. So we don't need to do anything further with this other than state that there are no real solutions, which means that there's no x-intercepts. Okay, and recall this sort of graph will look something like this. Okay, so it's not crossing the x-axis.